So I live in Blue Lake, California, in Humboldt County, and but I have some stories that a lot of them come out of Wisconsin, and here's one song coming out of Wisconsin, and I have the Tiny Tims next to me, Tom Chan, and Matt and Knight are playing some ukuleles for the occasion. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I used to worry about a certain family down Racing Way. Well, they were legendary tough guys down Racing Way, and they never gave one dime to the United Way. We called them Zig-and-Hagens, Zig-and-Hagens. They were crazy brothers with a crazy name. Crazy brothers, they're just insane. You'd hear about a knife and their names were always in the story. You'd hear about a robbery. Their names were always in the story. Armin, Jesse, and Fast Eddie, just for a joke, they sold hard dope, just for some laughs. They kicked some ass. One fine day, the law caught up with those crazy brothers. Killed some guy and then they locked them up. Now all our days are much better days. But they never gave one dime to the United Way. They were nasty guys. They called them Zig-and-Hagen, Zig-and-Hagen. Crazy brothers with a crazy name. Crazy brothers, they're just insane. I hope they don't find out about that song. Thank you, Mr. James Smith. I didn't mean it. Here's a little story. I had just done a show in Minneapolis at the Bryant Lake Bowling Theater. And this place had a cabaret, and then on another side of this door was a bowling alley, which was just perfect for me. I loved it. After the show, the technician said to me, "Hey, I really want you to come outside to my car. I got this great new sound system. I want you to hear it, okay?" So I went out to the parking lot, and this guy had this rusted old Toyota Corolla. And he cranked up the sound, and it was the greatest hits of the Guess Who. And an American woman came blasting out, "American Woman," in this incredible 8 speakers with as loud as could be. And I said, "Is this the music that you wanted me to hear?" He said, "Yeah, what, you got a problem with Guess Who?" I said, "Well, I've just never heard of anybody that actually bought a Guess Who greatest hits." So we got talking, me and this guy, and he told me that he used to live in Nashville. And there was a time that one time he worked for this hotel, and one of his chores, he had to drive around Jim Neighbors in a golf cart. And I said, "You mean Jim Neighbors as in Gomer Pyle on the TV show?" He says, "Yeah, that guy." And he said they would drive around and they sang Hank Williams songs all night long. And I said, "You have got to be kidding. That is so surreal. It can't possibly be real." But he said, no, it was true. So after we talked, he said, where are you going next? And I said, well, I'm going down the Mississippi, down Highway 61, then I'm going to turn off and go back to Madison. And he said, oh, well, you got to go to this town called Trempealeau, Wisconsin. There's a beautiful old restored hotel. You just got to check it out. So I said, okay, I'll go down there. I drove down to Trempealeau, very tiny, quiet town, and I could look out, and the Mississippi River was about a block away, moving slowly, and the sun was setting. And I walk in this beautifully restored hotel with polished wood floors, and I ordered a pint. Bartender's standing there, is a very nice guy, and I see this big stage and a large lawn outside the window, and I said, what's that lawn for? He says, we have these big rock and roll shows once in a while in the summer. We've had, 3 or 4 of them. People come from all over the place, Wisconsin, Iowa. It's a big deal, I said, really? Well, what's the last show you had? Oh, we had this big rock and roll revival show. We're going to have one of the guys from Iron Butterfly, Mike Panera, 2 of the guys from Cannonball and the Headhunters, and the big guy who was leading the whole thing was going to be Tiny Tim. He's the headliner. I said, you're kidding. I said, no, and this is going to be the biggest bash of the summer. We sold out 800 seats. This is going to be the big party. Day of the show, bus pulls up, it's Tiny Tim. He comes walking in. He's big as a house. He's got this dirty American flag t-shirt on. His hair's down the middle of his back. He's got his ukulele in his hand, and he starts playing his big hit, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. And he's playing it to all the people, waving back and forth, and he's grabbing people's beers off their table, and he's drinking them in between singing. Tiptoe Through the Tulip with Tiny Tim. Then he sits down, Tiny Tim does. He has 2 full dinners, and he drinks 4 beers with a straw. He gets up, he can hardly walk. He walks across the street to his hotel, and I think, we're not going to see him again. He's not going to make it. This is going to be a disaster. I'm going to lose a lot of money tonight. So the show starts. No sign of Tiny Tim. Iron Butterfly does Inagata Davida for about 25 minutes. Some guy in ukulele's playing the lead on it. Then Cannonball and the Headhunters start doing Land of a Thousand Dancers. People are standing on picnic tables drinking beer. This is Wisconsin in August, right? All of a sudden, Tiny Tim appears next to me, and he's just listing back and forth as if he's at some rowboat out at sea or something. And I went, oh, he's not going to make it. They announced, and ladies and gentlemen, the headliner for our show, Tiny Tim. He tries to take a step up, but he can't make it. So 2 of us have to push him up his ass from behind up the stairs. He gets up on the stage, and he's listing back and forth, and the whole crowd is just screaming for him. And I thought, he's just going to fall over. And all of a sudden, he strapped on his ukulele, and it was like Zorro. He became Tiny Tim, professional entertainer. And he started playing all these songs. On Wisconsin, This Land Is Your Land, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, all of these songs. He was dancing around like a wild gypsy, shaking people's hands. It was incredible. I've never seen anybody transform themselves so incredibly on a stage. I'm telling you, I just had tears in my eyes. It was so beautiful. And after the show, he walked down the stairs. He winked at me. He had 2 girls on one on each arm, and he walked over to his hotel. Well, the next day, I woke up, and I saw there was Tiny Tim, and he was standing in the middle of the street. He still had that dirty American flag t-shirt on, and he was just looking out at the river that was going by, and he had this big grin on his face. And I thought, geez, the day before, when I looked at him, he looked like one of the saddest guys in the world, a mess of a man. And now here he was with this smile like a Cheshire cat, and he was like the happiest guy in the world. Well, I might be exaggerating about that, but he was definitely the happiest guy in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Tulips with me.